Hello everyone, welcome back. It is now March 8th of 2021. Now, one thing is for certain is that a lot of Star Wars fans have been very up in arms over the Gina Carano fired situation and exactly how Lucasfilm went about handling the entire, situation, kind of just doing it all over on social media, letting Twitter trends and hashtags, letting Gina Carano know about her firing, and she confirmed this in the Ben Shapiro interview not so long ago. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, one thing about Disney Star Wars is that yes, we do know that they already have over a dozen Star Wars projects that they are currently working on, which, by the way, really is a big deal. That goes to show us, the Star Wars fandom, that they really are trying to push as much material forward as much as they can. They got Kenobi, they've got Andor, they've got Mandalorian, and a whole lot more on their plate. But a lot of fans are very fed up with Star Wars, and more so because of the principles that Lucasfilm has in line here. How they lack a lot of principles, I should say. And they don't really like to follow those. They don't like to follow rules or guidelines, it seems, or just kind of following common decency. They don't really like to actually follow any of that. Now, everything related to Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, alright? These guys are really doing everything that they can, really putting all of their energy into the new Star Wars projects. I mean, they really do have a lot on their plate. There's no doubt about this, that Jon and Dave are doing everything they can to bring back Star Wars Legends, which, by the way, that is indeed their big plan. Now, ever since Gina Carano's firing, there has been a lot that has been happening behind the scenes over at Lucasfilm, especially by Jon Favreau. Now, of course, now that both Disney and Lucasfilm are developing The Mandalorian Season 3 and 4, mind you, Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are very focused on their new Star Wars projects coming up, such as Mando and Ahsoka, that will lead to other TV shows for the Star Wars fandom to enjoy. However, it's noted that behind the scenes, recently creator Jon Favreau has been making major changes to The Mandalorian and even the Ahsoka Tano TV series. It's noted that Favreau recently fired a handful of co-writers that Jon and Dave initially chose to work with for Mando and Ahsoka, and that Favreau fired these co-writers that were going to aid in writing the stories with Favreau and Filoni for trying to force Kathleen Kennedy's preferred choice for the story into the shows, and that Favreau, was not in agreement with that path, and that this led to many creative differences between Favreau and the co-writers for numerous episodes of course, which were more in line with Kathleen Kennedy's, and that now Favreau is choosing to do everything alone strictly with Dave Filoni. The co-writers were hired in order to speed up the process for Favreau to work on multiple projects at once comfortably, and that this is the first time that Favreau had to make such a drastic move and decision, and Kennedy is not happy about it one bit. I mean, are we really surprised about that? Aside from this, it's explained that Favreau recently was the one responsible to prevent and save Gina Carano's Cara Dune from getting deleted from Mando Season 1 and 2. Initially, Kennedy wanted to erase her from the show, trying to convince Bob Chapek to do so, but Favreau convinced the higher-ups over at Disney to not go through with that plan, and was the one responsible for saving the character of Cara Dune, staying within Mando Season 1 and 2. Now, here's the thing about Jon Favreau, is that this guy, I can imagine, this was a very tough decision on his plate because, yes, he is in charge of the creative decisions when it comes to his little verse, his little universe with Dave Filoni. A lot of it, actually, including Mando, Ahsoka, and more. We've got Deborah Chow pretty much in charge of Kenobi. But the thing about Jon Favreau is that this is a decision that he actually had to make because Kathleen Kennedy was pretty much forcing her agenda upon those co-writers to force it upon Jon Favreau. And you can see the big shift of what's going on right now behind the scenes over at Lucasfilm and why there are some setbacks when it comes to the production for Mando Season 3. Now, Season 3 is still slated for a 2022 release. We're still not quite sure if it's going to be May or August or October. Those are the key months that they usually like to look at from now. From now on forward, those are the key months that they want to release TV shows. May, August, October. But in Boba Fett, in this scenario, it's December. Anything after 2021, they want to choose those months. So May, August, and October, the 3 key months. I don't know why, but I guess they generate the most revenue at that point in time, I guess. You got May, which is right before the summer. You got August, which is, right before when the school, year begins. And then you have October, which is right around the holiday season. So I do believe that them choosing the Book of Boba Fett's December, I believe, 21st release date, if I'm not mistaken, I think that they should have moved it back to November or October. I think that would have been more proper, but I digress. I think that Jon Favreau made an excellent decision on his part. I think that he did what he had to do, and that he actually needed to do this. Think about it. If he didn't fire these co-writers, whoever they really are, is that we would have had a lot of Kathleen Kennedy drivel in Mando Season 3 and 4, and even Ahsoka Tano. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants Kathleen Kennedy material to be shoved in these Star Wars projects. Now, I know a lot of you guys out there are fed up over Star Wars. I understand. I know a lot of guys out there are very much frustrated over how Lucasfilm has handled Star Wars. But what Jon and Dave are really trying to do, they're trying to really just stay away from Kathleen Kennedy and just focus on their own thing. And I'm going to find it very interesting to see exactly how these shows are going to compare to what Kathleen Kennedy was working on. I think that The Acolyte is going to bomb, to tell you guys the truth. I think that come 2022, if they get it released on time, which, by the way, they're aiming for a October 22 release, I don't think they're going to make it because there are a lot of setbacks on that show. Most likely we're looking at an early 23 release for that TV show, but we'll see. I believe it's going to be the next Batwoman. And there's a reason behind this. You got Leslie Headland, you got Ruby Rose apparently attached to the project, Brie Larson attached to the project. I mean, it just doesn't seem right to me. It just seems like that Leslie and Kathleen are obviously pushing an agenda. They don't really care about the fandom. Even Leslie said that she isn't really a Star Wars fan. She has no favorite Star Wars movie or TV show at all. She most likely knows little to nothing about the franchise, and this is yet again a Kathleen Kennedy puppet coming on board to just push an agenda. It's always amazing to me, like how these companies, how these production studios can just push an agenda and not care about the backlash and then just keep pushing it. Look at what happened with Batwoman. The amount of backlash, they didn't care. They just revived Batwoman again. And yet it's also getting horrible ratings once more. So, like I've said, I think that Jon and Dave are on a mission to really do anything that they can that's possible to restore, as I like to say, balance in the universe of Star Wars. And I think that obviously they are on a path to victory. I think that they are. Because they have Ahsoka. Think about it. You're going to have Thrawn. You're going to have Ezra in there. You're going to have Luke as well in the show. Yeah, you got Mando. You got Kenobi. I mean, Hayden Christensen coming back. I think a lot of times fans forget about this, and this isn't me necessarily sticking up for the Gina Carano firing. I do believe that that was wrong, and it was very mishandled. I like the fact that Jon Favreau saved Cara Dune from getting erased. I think that was very, very respectful of him, and it was very much needed, and I think that the fans needed that. Because if they got rid of Cara Dune in Season 1 and 2, that would have just literally created an even bigger backlash. So, like I've said before in the past, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.